Further downstream, we have locations for two more mills: Scalby and Newby Mill. Both were located either side of Whitby Road Bridge, and on opposite sides of Scalby Beck.
This one is generally called Scalby Bridge Mill.
We will now try to explain how everything worked, using maps, graphics and video footage, taken between 2020 and 2023. There has been a mill on this land, probably as far back as the mid-1600s.
Colin did some research and discovered some documents at Hull University that relate to this mill. The records are very extensive and detailed. Viewing can only be undertaken by appointment with the university.
However, there is sufficient information in the basic description of each item to allow us to put together a brief account of the mill and who owned it.
5th of September 1701, Fantnall Ford became the owner of the mill. He was from Scarborough and a master mariner. So we now know that the mill was operational 323 years ago.
Fantnall Ford died in 1723. It is very likely that he was the main owner of the mill in the mid to late 17th century. In his will dated 16th of July 1723, he left an eighth share in the mill.
In the 1700s, operating and living around Scarborough were a family of seamen and merchants. The Dewsbury family.
The university records show many connections and documents regarding this family.
Thomas Dewsbury's name is connected to most of these documents, and it appears he was working in the legal profession based in Beverley. In the 1730s, he was in a position to have a ship built for him, the Thomas and Hannah. In later years, many members of his family had part shares in the vessel, properties in Scarborough's town, land in and around the villages, and shares or ownership of the mill.
One of those connections was a J. Robinson. He is shown to be the owner of the land in 1771, and he is also listed in the 1828 Trade Directory as being the miller.
We are not 100% certain how he made his living before his involvement with the mill. His name is connected to the mill from 1771 to at least 1828. He ran the mill for over 57 years.
It is also quite possible that there were financial connections with Newby Mill between Robinson and the Dewsbury family.
Okay, now back to the beck. We will have a look and see if there is anything left of the old mill.
This is what the building looks like today. A lot of alterations have taken place over the years. There are no obvious remains of the old mill building or equipment. It is currently used as a youth hostel.
This is the only image we have found of the old mill building. A lot of this building was damaged beyond repair in the Great Flood of 1857.
It appears to be the case that after the flood, the building ceased to operate as a water mill. Census records show 3 resident millers between 1828 and 1855. We could not find any listing after 1855. Joseph Robinson, Thomas Burton, William Vasey. The 1898 map indicates that the mill is disused. It does appear that the mill stopped operating after 1857.
Even though there are no remains of the old mill, we can still make out where the mill race was. This is the location of the race as shown in 1898.
The source was here, just behind the weir. The race was a ditch, or trench, that ran alongside the beck.
Today you can just make out the remains of the ditch. Most of it has since filled in with soil and vegetation, which has been ongoing for the last 160 years.
The race ran into a mill pond, at the back of the mill, to where the mill wheel was situated.
Unfortunately, the old ditch is all that is left to show that the building was once a water mill.